Welcome to the Lights Lounge, your weekly home for all things Las Vegas Lights FC. We'll be here every single week in 2025. You can join us for a deeper dive into everything that happens on the pitch, including match previews and analysis alongside a new guest every single episode. Coming up, the Lights are looking to keep a 4-game unbeaten streak rolling, this time on the road at Sacramento Republic FC. Alongside me today to chat takeaways from Saturday's scoreless draw amidst the team's impressive shutout streak and look ahead to the Sacramento match, I have our local human giant defender, Elias Gartig. Elias, welcome to the lounge.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here. Let's start with the Colorado match. Scoreless draw last Saturday. What did you think of the game just overall first?
Yeah, another clean sheet, number 6 clean sheet.
Yep.
But beside from that, we want the ball a bit more than we had against them. We want to create more chances. But another clean sheet and another draw. So at all, I think it was okay.
Yeah, it's 6 total clean sheets for the team.
6 total out of 8. Yeah.
Yeah, which leads the league, obviously.
Yep.
What do you see as the foundation of the team's success defensively? Like, what makes you guys good defensively?
Yeah, obviously we trained a lot of it. On it, a lot of tactical on it.
Yeah,
and obviously we have an Italian coach who likes to defense, and that's very exciting for me. So we're just training on all the small details.
Yeah,
and I think we can see that in the matches that we are very good defensively.
Yeah, it's a big emphasis for him. I've talked with other players on here, and we talked a lot about when you have a new coaching staff and a couple new players, the first thing to come is always the defensive side of the game. You get the defensive tactics first, and then everything else comes.
I mean, that's the first step. That's the first block we built, and then I think we are there now. So the next step needs to be that we need to be better on the ball and create more chances. Yeah.
Quickly about the defending still, let's just talk about Raiko a little bit. And I want to talk about what it's like to play with him. Obviously, he doesn't speak a lot of English.
No.
So what's the communication like with Raiko on the field between you two?
Yeah, so I think we played a couple of matches now together, so I think we understand each other, though we don't speak the same language. I can say bueno to him, but I think that he can say what he needs to say down there, and obviously he's very good at the moment.
Yeah,
and he saves us almost every match. So he is very good.
Yeah, talk to me about the art of defending a little bit. We talked a little bit about this with Jack last week, but sometimes when you have a goalkeeper that's hot and is doing really well and that you trust as a defender, you can defend in a different way, right? Like you can show him wide and know that if you just let him have the shot at the near post, Raiko will save it 10 times out of 10. Yeah.
Of course, we trust him a lot, and that's why we defend so good, so as we do right now. So yeah.
What, from your perspective, then you spoke a little bit about the offensive. Right now, the next block needs to be getting on the ball more. For you as a center back, how do you affect that? What do you see as your role?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with us at the back when we play out. We need to be more calm, and we just need to be a bit better on the ball.
Yeah.
And that is the next step, and that starts with us in the back from Raiko, with us in the fourth back, and then all the way up. So
looking to break lines maybe a little bit more than you have been.
Exactly. Yeah. And just a bit more calm on the ball. Just keep the ball a bit more. I think we had some periods against Oaklands, against Orange County in the Jägermeister Cup, where we've been very good on the ball. So we just need to stay on that level with the ball, and I think it will come soon.
Yeah, I would say probably that Orange County game in the Jägermeister Cup is probably the best we've seen of the team on the ball.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that was just game plan? Do you think that was just the performance levels you guys need to reach, or?
Yeah, I think it's the performance level we need to reach, and we were great on the ball from all the way down to me and Malik and Raiko and all the way up. I think we played a bit more directly.
Yeah.
And we just succeeded on that. So that's the level we need to reach. And if we reach that level and we're still as good as we are defensively, then we are going to be very, very, very good.
Absolutely. So let's look ahead to Sacramento. Big early season 6-pointer here, right? They're in 8th place right now with 10 points. We're in 6th with 12 points. Does that add a little bit of extra intensity? Yeah, I know at the end of the season when you're fighting for playoff spots, all of a sudden those games seem to be important, but you can look back on an early season game like this and go, man, that might have been the difference.
Yeah. Obviously, all matches is very important, right?
Sure.
And we need 3 points every weekend. So that's also what we need Saturday against Sacramento.
Yeah. Have you guys looked at them tactically yet? Do you know what you're expecting?
We haven't started yet. We just started looking at ourselves from the games against Colorado, and then we will start tomorrow looking into that game.
Any takeaways from sort of that tactical breakdown? I'm sure that was a video session today before training.
Again, we're looking into how we play on the ball. That is mostly what we're looking at, because defensively we are doing very well.
Right.
So it is on the ball, and that's what we need.
Away matches versus home matches. It's a pretty home-heavy schedule here for the Lights at the beginning of the season. For you, when you're approaching an away match, how does your routine change? Like, what are you doing in the hotel on a Saturday morning as you're trying to burn time before the game?
I don't really have a routine. I do what I want to do. So I would do a walk outside, and otherwise I'm just being with the team, being with my friends, and just chill, being on the phone with family and friends. That's what I do. Yeah.
My next question was, does your mentality change for an away match or a home match? But
no, it's
based on that, I assume you're just hanging out.
It's pretty much the same. It is the same.
Yeah. Let's talk about your season individually. Okay, so you obviously came in a little bit late to the team last year in 2024. We'll talk about that later. But you started and played the full 90 minutes in 11 of the 12 games. You only sat out the AV Alta match, which was a heavily rotated game in the midweek anyways. So other center backs have been swapping in and out around you. You've played in a 4-back, you've played in a 3-back system, but how have you sort of maintained that level of consistency and trust from Antonio?
Yeah, first of all, the way that he wants to defend, I think that fits me very, very well.
In what way?
Yeah, but all the small details of defending, that fits me very well, and that's what I am used to from where I am from. Okay. That fits me very well, and then I think there's respect between us, and I'm trying to do all I can every time I step onto the pitch, training, matches, everything.
Yeah, as I was diving into this, I'd honestly forgotten about it. When I got here late last year, and John, the sporting director, was filling me in on the roster, and he's like, oh yeah, we have this young Danish kid that we've brought in. I'm pretty high on him. He's got a lot of the intangibles, but he's still young, he's still developing. And I'd sort of forgotten about that this season, and I pulled up your transfer market page, and you're 22 years old. Yeah. You're going to be 22 until October, so you're going to be 22 for the majority of this season. I was pretty surprised. I don't know. I just feel like you play and compose yourself on and off the field like an older player. I don't know. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like have you had that growing up where people think like, oh, he's aged beyond his years?
Yeah. I had that when I grew up. Yeah. And I always been a big lad, right? So, sure. But I mean, this system is also a bit different from here and in Europe, right? Where in Europe you would start to play senior football when you're a bit younger than maybe here. So that might also be a reason.
Sure, by your standards, growing up in the European football system, 22 is not that young. 22, you should be expected to be playing.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Because you broke through pretty early. We'll talk more about that. Yeah. Talk more about your play style. I mean, I remember conversations in preseason. You're pretty good friends with Vaughn off the field. Yeah. But I remember hanging out with Vaughn, and he was playing as a lone striker a lot in preseason because we didn't have Johnny Rodriguez yet. And he was like, this sucks. Like, playing against Elias is horrible. He had stud marks down his calf from one challenge you put in on him. So talk to me about your physicality and how you approach the game as a defender.
Yeah, I obviously love to defend. That's why I'm a defender. Yeah. And I just love duels. So that's what I live for here. So
yeah. I was talking to John, sporting director John, earlier, and he said there was a conversation in your guys' one-on-one at the beginning of the year with Antonio where you asked permission to, he's like, can I be aggressive in training?
Yeah.
And Antonio was like, why not? And John was like, Elias lit up. He was like, let's go. I'm here.
Yeah, it was one of the first talks I had with Mister, where I was like, because you know, in some teams, in some clubs, you can't like go really hard in training and stuff, but for him, that's what we can do.
It's kind of a non-negotiable, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that fits me very well, and my playing style. So yeah, that is very nice for me.
Yeah, because I think you just you talked about duels earlier. Obviously, you're a big guy, but there's a lot of big guys. Like Malik's a big guy too. There's a lot of big center backs, but I think you sort of ground yourself in a way. Sometimes, like if you decide you're going to be standing somewhere, it's very hard to move you off of that. You kind of root yourself into the ground. Where does that come from? Do you feel that? Because there's a difference between just being big and strong and then being like immovable, which is I think what you are.
It's always been what I love to do.
Yeah.
The duels, the 1-1 duels where we close to each other, which would be what I'm best to do.
Yeah.
So it's just always been like that.
To Vaughn's detriment in preseason, probably.
Exactly. And I think it was very great that Vaughn and I is very close, because I was hitting him very, very hard. Yeah.
I remember watching from the sidelines in preseason. Yeah. And there's like, it tends to be how it is in training sessions. There aren't a lot of fouls called in training unless it's truly egregious. So you can get away with a lot in training.
Yes. And I got away with a lot against Vaughn, and he can take a lot, so he takes a lot of hits. So
yeah. But I mean, you've played 11 games, full 90 minutes. You only have 3 yellow cards. So despite this style, I think you still do need to know where that line is, because for someone like you, if you get on a yellow card early in a game, does that make it more difficult for you, or does it change?
Of course, I have to think about when I get close to people, right? Because I can receive another yellow, but it's not something that I think a lot about. But yeah, there's still this line I need to figure out where that is, because I think it's a bit low in the league, and I'm not agreeing with all the yellow cards that I've been given. But yeah. And
maybe you sort of have to spend that those first couple fouls the referee calls, because that line might be slightly different in one game than in another.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you're sort of trying to
it is
about
that
finding
that. Yeah, it is about finding that line, and and that's what I think about when I play the games, because it's obviously one of the things that I do. That is the duels.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about your journey, because you're Danish. You've ended up in Las Vegas, and I think you have a fascinating journey to Las Vegas. Yeah. But let's go all the way back. What was your hometown, and what was your childhood like? Because I mean, I know your hometown. I have it written down, but I'm not going to butcher the pronunciation, so I want you to say it.
Yeah, so I grow up it's like 1 hour from Copenhagen. I think that's what people knows, in a small town called Nykøbing Falster.
Okay.
And I just had a nice and quiet childhood there, and grow up, and went to school there, played football in the club there, which I also sooner played for.
Yeah.
The same club. I had my father in the club and my 3 brothers.
Your father was on staff at the club?
Yes, he was. Not for the first team, but he's been coaching me and all my brothers as a youth player. So
interesting.
So
you started playing pretty much straight away.
Do
you remember a time when you weren't playing?
No, I can't remember. I think I was like 4 or 5 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So was it always sort of the goal to play professional soccer, or what was childhood like? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it came. I think I could probably see I was great at what I was doing when I was like maybe 11, 12, 13 years old. When I also went to play for Brøndby. I think that was when I was thinking about that this could go on and be something that I could live.
Yeah, so you moved to Brøndby summer 2016, I think. So it's like when you're 14 years old.
Yeah,
so you probably like at Nykøbing, you break out sort of.
Yeah,
11,
I was like when I think I was 12 or 13. I was like half-time Nykøbing, half-time Brøndby, because I was still going to school in Nykøbing, so I had to do my things there. So I was training 2 times in Nykøbing, 2 times in Brøndby. My father would drive me, and then when I was 14, I moved. I moved, and because I was able to move to a school in there and live in there. Yeah, so I moved permanently.
Okay,
yeah.
Fascinating. That's like an interesting setup where both clubs were sort of splitting you. I feel like in this model where people want to develop players and make money off of them eventually, that seems sort of interesting. They would allow you to split time like that.
Yeah, but I think both clubs wanted to obviously all the best out of me, and also sooner later in my career I went back to Nykøbing. So
right.
So yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Brøndby then, because you worked your way through their youth system from 2016 to 2020 as a teenager, basically. Going to school there, living there full time, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
What was that like? Was that a good experience for you? Do you feel like that made a difference for you?
It did. I was a bit on my own, away from my parents. Learned a lot to grow a lot there, and. Yeah, obviously the Brøndby Academy is very good, one of the best in Denmark. So I learned a lot there, and
would you classify Brøndby as like a big club?
Yeah, it is. It is one of the biggest clubs.
What are the big clubs?
So there would be FC Copenhagen, FC Midtjylland, and then Brøndby. There would be those 3 clubs who fights for the championship every year. Okay. Also right now.
So so ending up in Brøndby as a youth player in Denmark is kind of
very, very good. Yeah,
it's kind of the dream. You're I've got a chance now.
Yeah. Also, because they are when you're allowed in Denmark when you are 15, you're allowed to sign a contract. So when I was 15 years old, I signed my first contract there.
Oh wow! So you're making money straight away.
Yeah. So that was very, very big for me at the time. Yeah.
Do you get that money, or does it go into like an account that you can't access?
No, I got that money.
You got that money.
I had my own card. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. As a 15-year-old, just like that's amazing.
Yeah.
What happens there? Because I can only find like 3 official appearances for the U19 in your transfer market. Were you playing a lot of games or like?
Yeah, I played a lot so I played a lot under 15 there. A lot under 17 there, and then the break between under 17 and under 19 in the preseason there. From I broke my foot, and I never really came back at Brøndby from that. And then Corona came. Right. So when I came back, Corona came, and we were only playing 3 matches.
Oh man. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So do you feel like, because then you moved to Frem?
Yes.
What's the decision making like? Like walk me through like coming
so
back
I was
from
I was still going to school in Brøndby, and I had 1 year back, so I wanted to finish that.
Yeah.
And Frem is a club in Copenhagen, so I was able to still live in Copenhagen and then play in there, and it was in
the 3rd division, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was only 17 years old, and the thinking was that Brøndby didn't want to sign a new contract. They didn't want to sign a senior contract with me.
Got it.
At the first team, so I was thinking about. I had other opportunities to go and play still youth football for other great clubs in Copenhagen, but my thoughts were about playing senior matches.
Yeah.
And getting into that environment.
It's about that time at 17, 18 where you need to start.
Yes, exactly. So at 17 I moved there and played there 1 season, and then I already at that moment I was speaking with Nykøbing, because obviously we.
Right.
And I knew after I finished school in there, I knew that there was an opportunity down there. So I signed a 3-year deal at
Nykøbing. Okay,
at
cool.
Nykøbing, yeah.
So Frem was just really always going to be a stepping stone. You made 15 appearances there over that year.
Yeah.
First professional, like truly professional experience.
Yep.
Do you have any like memories from that time, from those 15 appearances, playing in like kind of scratching and clawing in the 3rd division?
I mean, it's senior football, so it's different, right?
Yeah.
And it was just so different from youth football, where it's all about playing and learning, where here it was all about winning. Yeah. So we would do whatever it take to win, and I think I learned a lot about that from a young age.
Right.
So that was very good.
Kept them up, I guess. Didn't get relegated. Can you get relegated out of the 3rd division?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
There's a lot of leagues down there.
Yeah. 3rd division is the last professional division, though, and then and then it's like semi-pro from down there.
Exactly.
So you don't want to get relegated out of the 3rd division.
No.
So I'm sure there's a lot of pressure there to keep the team up.
Yep.
Okay, so then you go back to Nyköping, which is where you're from. It's your hometown. Your father's there. Both your brothers are all three of your brothers are there
all
still.
All three of my brothers, yeah.
At the same time, you sign a 3-year deal, and then you really start to kind of like come into your own, I think, with the first team. So talk me through that first season as a 19-year-old. You made 12 appearances.
Yeah, I was actually 18 when I came. I had my debut at 18. It was in the second tier with a great team. And
you fought for promotion this year.
Yeah,
yes?
we did.
Explain the Danish system to me quickly, because I don't understand.
So
how does the promotion relegation work?
Yeah, so there would be around 12 teams in the leagues.
Right.
We're a small country, 5 million people.
Yeah.
And then when we played halfway through the season, they would split it, and then there would be a top 6 and a bottom 6.
Okay.
So play for going up and going down.
One team goes up, or?
One team goes up.
Okay, got you. So how close did you come? So you played in that top 6, but then...
and we were number 6.
Okay.
So we were not close at all.
Yeah.
But we were in the top 6, which was a very, very like a milestone for the club. So
yeah, just being in that top 6 is a big deal.
Yeah, and then we played in the cup as well, and we beat the Danish Masters Copenhagen at that moment 3-0. So I think that was one of the biggest.
At home or at Copenhagen?
At home.
Oh, that must have been incredible.
That was very incredible.
How big's the stadium at Nyköping?
It can hold up to, I think it can hold up to around 10,000.
Okay. So I'm sure packed for a cup match.
It was packed. It was packed there.
Yeah,
it was.
Did you start that match?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even come into the field. So, but I was on the bench, and that was big for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so then you keep taking steps forward. Then I think the next year is when you truly become a regular in this first team, because you have 29 appearances in the 2022-23 season, and then also 29 appearances the next year. So do you feel like, did something change? Did someone leave? Did you just take a step forward as a player?
I think that I took a step forward as a player. Obviously, we had a center back who retired. He was very good.
Okay.
I learned a lot from him.
Who was
that? Then Andreas Holm.
Okay.
And he retired, and that made some space for me. And I think I did pretty good in the preseason, and that's why I kept on playing.
Okay. Looks like that first year as a full-time starter, you were in the bottom 6.
We were in the bottom 6. We also got relegated. So.
Oh, you got relegated.
We got relegated.
What was that experience like?
I mean, it was. I think it was. It was tough. We were a young team, and in the bottom. And the year before, we had a lot of experienced players, and we lost a couple of players, and I think that hurt us a lot.
Yeah. What's it like in a community when you're fighting relegation, right? Because you still have to live your life, and maybe a lot of people in the community care about the team and don't want to see it go down.
Yeah.
Do you have like interactions with normal people in your everyday?
Yeah, I have, and also because I'm very close to the club with my family. That was a tough season. Also a season that I learned a lot from. We learned a lot from.
Yeah.
It was very tough.
Were any of your brothers playing on the first team at this time too?
Actually, the brother after right after me, my oldest brother, Oscar, he made his senior debut at that season.
Okay. You're the oldest then?
I am the oldest. Yeah.
Okay.
So he made his senior debut. I think it was the second last match where he came on the pitch. Yeah. That was a very big moment for me and the family.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that must be pretty special to just get to play with your brother in a
it
first professional
was.
match. What position does he play?
Center back.
Oh, did you play next to each other?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's even better.
It was even better, yeah.
Wow.
And I remember that we had a couple of injuries, and I was actually the captain that match. So he made his debut while I was the captain, and I think that might be one of the biggest moments in my career yet. That was very, very big.
Okay, amazing. So then the next year, you are in the 3rd division then, in that case, fighting for promotion.
Yes.
Back to the 2nd division, another 29 appearance campaign for you. I think maybe the most notable thing is that you scored your first and only professional goal in this season. Do you remember it?
Yeah, a header, of course. I remember it. Yeah, I did.
Off a corner?
Off a corner.
Because it's a game winner against Hellerup.
Yes.
A 1-0 win.
Yes.
You scored in the 30th minute, and then you got a yellow card in the 37th, which I think just about sums it up.
Yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah, but okay, walk me through the goal. Do you remember?
It was just a corner on the front post, and then just a header and goal. Yeah,
nice.
And I think that was the second half of the season, and that was when my brother Oscar actually break through the team. So he was playing from a starter, and so he was starting that match, and that was very cool.
Were you playing a back four, and you two were just playing center back together?
Yes,
Gartig
we did that
Gartig.
for that second half of the season. We played together down there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So you had to have E Gartig, right, on the back of your jersey?
No, I didn't. He had O Gartig.
Oh, but you just got to keep Gartig?
I had only Gartig, and he had O Gartig. Yeah.
That's hilarious. He's the younger one that has to come through.
Of course.
I tried so hard to find this goal, Elias. I was on YouTube. I was Googling
I can show
everywhere.
you after. I have it.
Do you have it?
Of course I have it. It's my only goal, so
okay.
Of course I have it. Yeah.
Okay, we'll send it. Maybe we'll put it on the screen here. Because I wanted to find it so bad, but not speaking Danish and Googling in English for third division Danish highlights is pretty hard.
Of course.
Okay, we'll find it and we'll get it up there. Okay, so then from there, you leave Nykøbing to come here. Before we get into the whole process of coming here and how you ended up here in Las Vegas, it seems like you had a good thing going at Nykøbing, and you're playing with your brother, you're in your hometown, you're a full-time starter, you're maybe captaining the team at times. Why is it the time to leave the club at that point?
I think that before I even made the decision to go here, I had made a decision to leave Nykøbing, to go into a new environment, to try to challenge myself in a new place. And after the relegation from the second tier, Nykøbing was also trying to build a new thing.
Okay.
And they were maybe not as good as they were when I came.
Sure.
And I was trying to get into a new environment and trying to challenge myself with another thing.
Yeah, and maybe don't want to get stuck in the third division, right?
Also that, and obviously I had the opportunity to stay at Nykøbing.
Right.
And then the opportunity to come here also came, and some other opportunities. And I took a decision to leave the club. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about how you end up here. So at training this morning while you guys were training, I walked out and found our sporting director, and I was like, John, how the hell does Elias Gartig end up in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States of America, having only played in Denmark? How does he even end up here? So what he told me was that his first year scouting with Venezia, they were in Serie B. Maybe going down to Serie C, they were at the bottom. So a lot of his scouting assignments were in Scandinavia, looking for second and third division, cheap players on low salaries that maybe are looking for a move to somewhere else like you were. He said he just happened across a game you were playing in, saw you, put you on his list, forgot about it. Came to the US, and then you weren't even on his radar. And then apparently you DM'd him on Instagram looking for an opportunity, and then everything unfolded from there. Yeah. So I want to know your side of the story, how you even ended up.
No, it's totally correct. I signed with a new agency.
Okay.
And the agency had the player who was here last year, Ricky Alba.
Okay.
And I signed with him, and then I was just looking, because I was looking at everything, right? And the agency was also working on something, and I saw that they had a player who was playing at Las Vegas. I was like, what is this? And I was looking at the league, and then I could find John on Instagram, and I just sent him a text, and then one day after he texted me back that he wanted to have a call. And then 2 days after that we had a call, and we were just moving forward from there. And we almost agreed on that I should come here.
Yeah.
So that's the story.
Man. So did you have any idea then that he had already seen you play in person?
Not at all. I didn't know who he was at all. I didn't know the league at all before I saw Las Vegas Lights.
Okay.
So and then the opportunity came, and actually me and my girlfriend was here, I think it was a year before.
In 2023.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it was.
You were just here on vacation.
Just on vacation.
Okay.
And then I was just thinking about that. I couldn't say no to this opportunity because it's of course it's also for the football, right? But it's also because it's just a journey for me.
Right.
Every time we go on an away match, that's a journey for me. That's a new thing for me. So I just think that everything was just about that. This was a big change for me. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. Because what John told me is once you DM'd him, he sort of unearthed you on his old scouting list and went, "Oh, yeah, I've seen this player play." Yeah. And so then him and our scouting coordinator Steve De Benedictus did a deep dive on you at that point. Yeah. And they were saying that last year's team didn't have a ton of physicality and aerial ability on the back line, so they thought you would add that. And he also described you as a dog of a player. So and age-wise as well, like looking at someone that has the intangibles that you have and could continue to take steps forward here. So it's fascinating. I think global football has this glamour around it. But in reality, sometimes this is how stuff happens.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes it's just a fortuitous circumstance, same agent, same player, send a shot in the dark DM, things work out. Now you're a full-time starter for the Las Vegas Lights. And it's...
Yeah, and I think when we are on the level that we are on, I think it's all about, most of the time, it's all about connections.
Yeah. Teams don't have like
we're not getting sold to Real Madrid and stuff like that. So I think when we're on this level, it's a lot about connections and connections between players and trainers and coaches and directors.
Yeah, because teams at this level, they don't have full scouting departments of 8 scouts that are going on all these assignments and have all this whole database of players. It is often relationship driven, like that way. So
and then I was lucky that I from my agency I knew a bit about the club because they had a player here,
right?
And he seemed to say that it was a nice place, so I came.
Yeah, and I guess we talked about this before we started recording, but pretty comfortable coming to a country that speaks English because you grew up learning English and were already fluent. So it's not like moving to Italy or Spain where you would have to learn an entirely new language. No. But that's pretty common, right? Like in Denmark, pretty much everyone. Yeah,
we have it in school from we are like 6 years old.
Sure.
So I would say that most of the people can speak English.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. Another good story is that you arrive in 2024, which is towards the end, like about the halfway point of the season in August. So you kind of drop into the middle of a season and sort of have to get adapted quite quickly. But you arrived in Las Vegas, Nevada in August from Denmark.
Yeah.
I've heard that on your second day of training.
I was struggling.
And you vomited because of the heat.
I was struggling a lot. Yeah, I was vomiting. I had to tell Stephanie that they had to take me out of the training because
Stephanie is our athletic trainer.
I couldn't breathe at all. I think it was like 110 or something.
Yeah,
I never felt it before, so I had to go in the dressing room and throw up. And then I think from then on I got more and more used to it.
You heated up over time.
The weather was also going down.
Right.
But I'm still waiting to see for June and July this year.
You're about to experience your first true Vegas summer now.
Yep.
Yeah. How hot does it get in Denmark over the summer? Like what's the...
Oh, and now I have to get it over from. So I can say it in Celsius.
In Celsius, I'll convert it. Hold on.
It would get up to in the summer. It would get up to like maybe between. The highest is between 25 and 30.
Okay, so 30 degrees Celsius would only be 86 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes, and that's the highest. That's the good days we have. That's the great days we have.
So I guess the question would be, do you prefer playing in the extreme heat or the extreme cold?
So for me, it's a balance because we also have extreme cold. So most of the year here, I like it a lot, and then I haven't been here in June and July, so I don't know about that yet. But I would say like the weather is now, and it was in the preseason and stuff like that. That's perfect for me.
Incredible, yeah.
Because we have preseasons in minus degrees where it's terrible.
Oh.
Training in the morning, terrible every day. So I would rather I think I'd rather train here than in Denmark.
I don't think there's anything worse than trying to play football when your feet are like blocks.
No.
When your feet are just,
No,
because there's nothing you can
feel
do.
Your toes. No.
Yeah.
You can't feel your toes, and they're hurting, and it's just cold.
Yeah.
And dark outside, and it would maybe rain because it's Denmark also. So. Yeah, so that's tough sometimes.
And it's dark for a lot of the time over the winter there, yeah? Like
yeah, it is.
Not a lot of sunlight.
Not a lot of sunlight, no.
Yeah.
No. And when there is sunlight, everyone would be very happy, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of the cold and all of that kind of stuff, did you grow up playing like any winter sports or any of those kinds of things in your childhood other than soccer? Not really?
No.
Never like a hockey or anything like that?
No. It's actually more, I would say, I think it's a bigger sport in Norway and Sweden because in Denmark we don't get a lot of snow actually.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bigger sport over there. All the winter sports.
Yeah.
We just got a lot of rain instead.
So you get all the cold
and rain,
like the crap kind of cold,
yes.
Not even like the fun cold.
No, not at all. Not at all. It is terrible in the winter.
Okay, so you've traded one terrible for another terrible, but
we'll see.
Yeah,
but
we'll get you back on the pod like in September, and we'll see how you felt about it.
Yeah.
Because the other thing too is like, you can't move training up far enough to avoid the heat. Like we've started moving training up. Like at the beginning of the season, we're training at like 10:30 a.m. Now training at like 9:30.
Yes.
But like if you truly wanted to avoid the heat, you guys would have to be training at 6 a.m., which isn't possible.
No.
So at the end of the day, you're just going to be training for a shorter time in the heat and just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully it becomes a bit of a home field advantage when people are coming
here.
Yeah,
hopefully it will. It was last year, so
yeah.
So hopefully it will get that this year also. Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about on the field in 2024. So once you get over the heat and sort of adapt, what was that adaptation process like on the field? Because you had 4 regular season appearances, only 1 start, and then you appeared in all 3 playoff games as sort of like a shutdown option off the bench.
Yeah.
What was it like joining a team in the middle of the season and then trying to work your way into the rotation?
I came into a very good team at the moment,
and
I think they were unbeaten in like 10 games or something.
Right.
So I came into a very good team, and I think I was just thinking about finding my place into the team, and that was helping them in the moments that I could help. Because I know that when you have a team and you are winning games, you're not changing.
Especially along the back line.
Especially on the back line.
Yeah.
So I think from the start I knew my role, and that's also why I think that Dennis used me in the end of the game, because I can defend. And I was very, very happy with that role. And obviously, you always want to play.
Sure.
But at the moment, I think I enjoyed it, and we came along in very long in the playoffs.
Yeah. Any memories from that time? I mean, I think you came in and you've become probably quite close with a couple of guys, but were you rooming with anyone, or were you living on your own, and like how did that?
No, I was living on my own, but it was at the same place as some of the players, and I think pretty quick I got very close to a lot of the guys, which helped me a lot, and I would just say that the people over here is so kind, so it was very easy to get in the dressing room.
Yeah.
And I think both last year and this year, the dressing room is very, very, very good.
What do you view as your role in that dressing room? Do you view yourself as at this point now, being a full-time starter, being more experienced, as a bit more of part of that leadership group versus last year? Or, I don't know, what do you view that as?
Yeah. I totally feel that, and I hope that people sees me as a leader, because that's what I think that I am in the dressing room, and that what I want to be in the dressing room and on the pitch. So that's a role that I want to take. Yeah.
You've been indispensable, obviously, in 2025. The team's gotten off to a good start. Right? Lots of shutouts, building those blocks as we integrate new team members and a new coaching staff and all those kinds of things. What do you see as the ceiling for this group? What do you see as maybe some team goals that you guys are targeting?
we're obviously targeting the playoffs.
Sure.
But yeah, for right now we're targeting to build on our position and creating chances and stuff like that. Because I think that in the preseason we were focusing a lot of defending.
Yep.
Which is also why we are defending as well as we are. And as I said before, it's now it's time for all the other things.
Yeah.
And I think when we have all those things together, we would be a very, very, very good team. Yeah.
Speaking of playoffs, you came in at the end of the season, kind of got thrown straight into a playoff run and then playoff appearances, but that's not really a thing in Denmark. It's just regular season table, other than the cup competitions. What was that? What's the playoff experience been like for you?
Obviously, it's weird coming from a system where you can go up and down, and here you can just go to the playoffs and then you can win, and there is no getting down or up. But I think that the matches in the playoff was very nice because, I mean, it's like a final every time you play.
Yeah.
And I think that was very very, very nice.
Yeah, I think it makes the vibe of the regular season a little bit different as well, because ultimately being in amazing form at this point of the season isn't going to do a lot for you.
No.
Right? You want to, I've talked to some other players about, you want to be the team that is playing your best football
in the
at
playoffs,
the end of the season, which last year's team did, right? You
Yes,
came in,
yes.
they got hot over the course of the season after
they
not
were just
a great
going
start.
up from the first match and just going up,
Yeah, which is different versus when you're playing for Linchpin, you needed to be on it and kind of needed to have an 8 out of 10 throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
Whereas you sort of want you don't want to peak too early, I guess is what I'm trying to say, which I think is interesting. Does that change anything for you, or is it just sort of an interesting thing?
I would say that there's kind of more. Now I tried to play the relegation before in Denmark, and then it's more stressed and there's more pressure because it's so much about, there's so many jobs in the club and stuff like that. So you're fighting for so much.
Yeah.
Where here you're just fighting for winning, right? So
just not as much pressure on the bottom.
No,
Yeah.
no, there's not.
So with promotion relegation coming in the future, obviously it's not imminent, but in the next few years, if we're still in this league, do you see that as a good thing for the league, or what's your opinion?
I think my opinion is that's the way to do it. I think that's the way to do it, because even if you, like Colorado last year, win this league, you're just winning and then that's it.
Right.
Which is very good. But
sure.
But obviously, if you win, you want to go up to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Or feel like you are sort of at the pinnacle, right? If you win the first division.
Exactly.
But then I guess it would be interesting, right? Like a team like Colorado, they won the whole thing last year, but right now they're in 11th place out of 12 in the Western Conference, and they would be under a lot more pressure right now if...
they would.
Right, so...
They would. They would.
Yeah, so it'll make it interesting, right? And,
it would.
That seems to be the sentiment from a lot of guys. I was talking to Gennaro on his episode, and he had similar experiences where he's playing in the bottom divisions of Italy and just scratching and clawing to not get relegated.
It's all about survival every time you step onto the pitch.
But I think you bring up a good point too, about how much you have to fight for. It's not just the players and the fans, but it's also my job.
Exactly.
Which I think people don't think about, when they're just fans and watching the game. I think they tend to forget, Omar behind the camera over here, and my job as director of comms, and if you go down and you go down twice, and all of a sudden you don't have the same money for the same business staff, and people start to lose their jobs.
Exactly.
So
exactly. So that's a stressful situation.
Sure. But it brings stakes, and it is ultimately entertainment, right?
So, yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And also because then clubs from down below can go up and they can grow. So it's
right.
You always have to be at your best, because otherwise it's just going to be another club who's going to reach that level instead.
Yeah, absolutely. Elias, great conversation here. One last one for you. Having talked through your journey from Nykøbing to Las Vegas and everything in between, is there anything you look back on as man, that was a formative experience for me, or that really made the difference for me as a player or as a human being?
I would say there's been a couple of steps on the way. Moving to Brøndby, play there, obviously made me as a player, and I think going to a senior club at 17 years old also made me as a player. And then coming back to what I would call my family in Linchpin, and then going here. So I would say those steps, and I would say that I think my biggest moments would be that I played with my brother next to him as a center back. That must be one of my biggest moments.
Are the other brothers coming through? I think Albert's in the U19s right now.
They are, and they are. Everyone is center backs.
Everyone is center backs.
The smallest one, he's 10 years old. He's still a midfielder, but give him 2 or 3 years, and then my father would make him a center back. He's his coach right now, so he's gonna be a center back as well.
Do all the brothers have the same build? Are you guys all big lads?
Yeah, I can show you a picture after. Yeah, we all.
Okay, we'll throw that up on the pod too.
All of us is pretty big lads. Yeah.
Okay. Are you the biggest though, or
we are pretty much the same size.
Okay.
I would actually say that the one who still plays under 19 soccer, he is a very, very big guy.
Okay, and he's probably got a little bit more growing to do.
Yes.
Got to fill out in the weight room.
Unfortunately for me, he still has. But yeah, we're all pretty big guys. Yeah.
Powerhouse of a family.
Yeah,
incredible. All right. Well, Elias, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Next up, Elias and the team taking on Sacramento Republic FC away this Saturday, May 17th. You can watch that game on ESPN Plus and Fox 5 here locally. And then the team will be back home on Saturday, May 24th for another Western Conference matchup, this time against El Paso Locomotive FC. You can get your tickets at LasVegasLightsFC.com/tickets. And we will see you there, and we'll see you here next time. Thanks, everyone.
It's going to fall in behind for Pete Zoho.